Hello, Weil Alumni. I'm Justin Lee. I'm a partner in the Banking Finance Group here at Weil. I'm also on the Diversity Committee and a leader in WeilPride. It's my pleasure today to introduce to you Alana St, who is a friend and colleague and former colleague here at Weil. Alana is a vice president and senior counsel for private credit and hybrid capital within Goldman Sachs asset and wealth management team here in the Americas. Before joining Goldman Sachs, Alana was a banking and finance lawyer here at Weil, where she represented lenders and borrowers in finance, restructuring, direct lending, credit funds, and cross-border matters. She's been distinguished with numerous recognitions, including being chosen to serve on the Leadership Council for Legal Diversity Fellow, as well as a Women in Power Fellow for the 92nd Street Y. Welcome, Alana. Happy to have you here.
Thank you, Justin. I'm happy to be here.
Excellent. To start, can you tell us a little bit about what your role at Goldman Sachs entails?
Sure. Yeah, happy to delve deeper. As Justin mentioned, I am Vice President, Senior Counsel for Private Credit and Hybrid Capital within Goldman Sachs Asset and Wealth Management. So essentially what my job entails is I support our deal teams in our investments out of our third-party capital funds. So we have raised private credit funds or hybrid capital funds, sometimes private equity funds, and we are investing primarily in other private equity fund deals. Sometimes we are also investing in non-sponsored corporate borrower deals, primarily in the middle market space. We are also investing out of our BDC vehicles, our business development companies. And so my role entails being aware of all of the restrictions involved with investing via those various vehicles, any conflicts, any capital structure limitations, and any investment restriction limitations. I am also still very steeped in the leverage finance space as I was at Weil. So I am working on negotiating grids, commitment papers, credit agreements, and ensuring that I'm aware of current market trends as we negotiate those transactions. I'm involved in deals from beginning to end. So from the initial NDA stage, when we first get a deal in-house, structuring, as I mentioned, dealing with conflicts, and also the investment limitations.
Excellent. Sounds like you have a lot on your plate there. So very exciting times.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about your transition to in-house and maybe some of the challenges you encountered and maybe some things that surprised you about it?
Sure. So I really enjoyed my time at Weil. I learned a lot of what it means to be a top-notch corporate lawyer. I really appreciated the camaraderie there, and I really could see myself staying at Weil for the long term. When I was at Weil, I had the opportunity to work with a client on a client secondment, and that was my first exposure to what it meant to be on the client side and to work more closely with the business to advise them on setting up new projects, to setting up a new infrastructure, to working on cross-border matters, running diligence, working with outside counsel. And I realized that I did enjoy that aspect of practice. And so that is what opened my eyes to what I eventually did, which was to make the switch to the in-house side. Some of the benefits, I would say, are working directly with the business, learning how they discuss and evaluate transactions, learning their terminology, learning about how they think about structuring from the business side. Some of the other benefits are being on the cutting edge of legal developments, whether they are regulatory developments, such as right now, all finance lawyers are dealing with LIBOR transition, and the trends that are in the market, because you see a wider range of deals and transactions. What I found most surprising was that the schedule in-house is extremely busy. I did not realize that when I was external counsel. There are a lot more meetings, calls. There is limited time to sit down quietly to review or write or draft. And the time in which you have to do that is more condensed. I do feel that I'm multitasking more when I'm in-house. And I would say two other things. In-house, there is more of a non-linear career path. At a law firm, things tend to be lockstep. Your first year associate, second year, third year, counsel, partner. In-house, it is very, it's unknown how you progress within the organization, and different skills are important. There might be more soft skills and different ways of working that can help you succeed in-house that differ from when you're at a law firm. And then the third thing is that there is more pressure to be a generalist. So sometimes you go in-house and you're working on tasks and areas of law that you did not work on when you were at the law firm, and you should be comfortable with that before you move in-house.
What would you say is most translatable from your time at Weil? What were some lessons that you picked up that you've been able to translate into your practice at Goldman?
At Weil, I really learned the dedication to client service, that there's a certain way that you should have conversations with your clients, communicate with them, and listen to what their ultimate goals are. And I remember having a conversation with a Weil partner recently, and one lesson he taught me when I was at Weil and I take with me today is always be careful of your tone when you're communicating with clients. So that could be in email, on the phone. You want to make sure that they understand that you're not being short with them, and that you're trying to be helpful and responsive. At Weil, I also learned the importance of being friends and having a family with the people that you work with, enjoying the people that you work with, because you spend so many hours at work that it needs to be also an enjoyable environment. And that is part of the reason why I joined Weil. And I would say that's part of the reason why I joined Goldman, is that I could see myself being here, being around the people that I work with here, and staying for the long term.
Excellent. I think one of the things that jumps to me is your reference to the Weil family. And I think one of the really important parts of the Weil family is our commitment to diversity. I know that you are very committed to diversity, equity, and inclusion, and you've been affiliated with a number of organizations over the years. Can you tell me a little bit about your involvement and why that's something that's important to you?
Sure. Yeah. And just to piggyback on the friends and the family, I stay in touch with a lot of the people that I met at Weil, including yourself, Justin, including others that we worked with over the years. And that is a testament to the Weil culture, and really important that all attorneys think about where they feel at home. And in order to facilitate feeling at home, to feel comfortable at work, I do get involved in a lot of diversity and inclusion initiatives at the organizations in which I work. Starting at Weil, I was involved in the Weil Legal and Diversity Committee, the Black Affinity Network, helped to plan events when I was at Weil for that network with the attorneys from both EMEA and in the US. At Weil, I was also involved in the Association of Black Women Attorneys, and we also hosted a panel at Weil. And I'm really glad that I had the support of Weil to back me in those endeavors. More recently, I have formed an organization called the Advancement Initiative with a college classmate who is also an attorney. And the Advancement Initiative is an organization for mid-career Black women attorneys, both in-house and at law firms, to help each other with business development, with training, networking, with sharing opportunities and advice as we progress through our careers. And we've seen a lot of success with a number of the women eventually making partner at their law firms through the support of the network, or making immense career transitions through the support and the advice of the network. At Goldman, I am doing the same thing. I have been involved in our firm-wide Black network. I am involved in a Council for Black Leaders in Finance. And this is because I want to feel comfortable where I work, and I want to make sure that my peers who look like me or don't look like me also feel the same, and that they can bring their authentic selves to the workplace.
That's so inspiring, Alana. I really appreciate that insight. You keep super busy, and I know from working with you that you're a super hard worker and you hold yourself to the highest standards. What are some of the things that you do to kind of check out from work and keep yourself in a good place with your well-being and your health?
Yeah, so it's been an evolution over time. I would say early on in my legal career, I did start to invest in my health and wellness in terms of fitness. And I used to be a huge Zumba fanatic, dance fanatic, started running. But when I'm exercising, that is a time when my brain is essentially meditating and I am not thinking about work. I'm unable to check my phone, and I really enjoy putting myself through that challenge to take my mind off of things. More recently, I have been more involved in meditation and yoga. So I find that if I do find some time in the morning before I go to work to quiet my mind, to meditate and engage in breathing, when I come to the office, and just as you know, we work in very high stress environments, I do feel that it puts me in a calmer space and presents less anxiety for me in my day. One other thing that I'm still learning how to be better, and I'm sure both of us are, is to say no. So we get invited to a lot of events. We have the opportunities to sometimes participate in conferences or entertain. And I have learned to set better boundaries with myself, to not be afraid to say no, whether that is to friends, family, to colleagues, if I really feel that I need that time to myself to do nothing. And that's something that I'm getting better with every day.
Alana, any concluding thoughts for this?
I would say that definitely lean on your network, your mentors, your friends. Whenever you are considering a career change, whenever you are struggling with something at work, for the most likely, we've all experienced the same issue and problem. So don't be afraid to ask for help. And that's also something that I learned during my time at Weil. And the other takeaway I would have is to be yourself. When you come to work every day and you're working in a high stress environment, such as in corporate law, it's important to be yourself because you're expending a lot of energy if you try to be someone that you're not. And that is something that we should all strive to further.
Thank you so much, Alana, for joining us today and sharing your insights and a little bit about yourself with the wider community. You continue to make the Weil family very proud, and I'm proud to call you a friend and colleague.
Thank you, Justin. I'm happy to be here today. I'm happy to call you a friend as well, and I'm really excited to stay in touch with the Weil Alumni Network.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Alana.